Happy Friday, everybody. 23rd day of January 2026. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's Friday. It's a five-star show. You know what we do around here. We have a certain pattern. People have a tendency to fall into patterns, and we have one here. It's really not such a good thing, but Mondays and Tuesdays, we're here. We work. We don't work real hard. Wednesdays, kind of like Monday and Tuesday. Thursday, we lean forward a little bit. We try a little harder. We actually prepare the show. Friday, we give you a five-star show. And the weather is going to change starting today. We've been stuck in the gunk for about 8 days now. You've heard about that huge Arctic blast that's going to start up in Canada, scoot into the upper Midwest. It's going to make temperatures in Minnesota like minus 40 without the wind chill. Then eventually it's going to work its way down to the southeast, and they're in for some significant big-time weather for about half the country is going to get hammered. We're at the very, very edge of that, the far western edge of that system, and it's not going to really affect us a great deal as far as all that stuff is concerned. That's going to affect the rest of the country, but because we're on the very edge of it, it's going to scour out the skies. It's already started. We got a little satellite image to show for you here in just a couple of minutes, but we're finally going to see some sunshine this afternoon. That'll be nice, and I'll ride in through the weekend as well. We have some news to get to. We have lots of sports to get to as we preview Sunday afternoon's NFC Championship. Seahawks and the Rams meeting for the third time this year. They split the series. Now it's to go to the Super Bowl. We'll preview that. Plus all the action is Friday, and it's January. We usually have a lot of sports. And Paul Collard, my good buddy Paul. Always good to see Paul. Always great to have a conversation with him. Paul Collard is one of the board members of the Friends of the NCW Fair, which helps the NCW Fair in Waterville every year, and their biggest fundraiser, and they've been doing this for almost 3 decades now, is the annual all-you-can-eat prime rib and crab dinner coming up on Saturday, March 14th. This event always sells out. Paul's going to talk about what that's all about. It's $80 for all-you-can-eat prime rib and crab and entertainment and a live auction. Paul will be joining me in the back half of the program. Do not miss that conversation. Tour time. At 2 minutes after the hour, the PTZ cameras are fired up. We put quarters in them. This is a good indication of what's coming our way. Look in the background, folks, and look to the right. Yesterday at this time, we couldn't quite make out the summit of Badger Mountain and Birch Mountain. Now we can. The high clouds are still beginning to lift. There's not a low, stuck inversion. The clouds are getting higher and higher, and that's where the winds are going to be. Pretty high up there in the atmosphere, just enough to scour out the sky. So the winds will be way up there in elevation, not down here in the Wenatchee Valley, and we're going to finally see some sunshine. We're on the back door of that trough of low pressure that's moving south. That's good news. That's the Lower Butte camera. Good morning to Chelan. Apparently there's enough radiant light that it switches switch to color. We can do it manually, or it does it automatically. When it gets too dark, it switches to black and white, so all the light can be lit in. Sunrise is still a ways away, 7:37 this morning. Sunset tonight, 4:49. That's 9 hours and 12 minutes of daylight. That's 2 minutes and 27 seconds longer than it was on Thursday. From the roof of the Cascadian, pointed south in downtown Wenatchee, the Widener apartment homes continues to grow every day. They're making more and more progress, and that huge construction tower, that crane, is pretty much visible all over the Wenatchee Valley. Yeah, it's going to be quite the impressive complex when they're done with it. I think they're scheduled to open in March of next year, about a year from now. And that's the Stein Hill camera looking at Kashmir. So that big dark blotch of nothing in the center of your screen, that's the golf course. And next to that, of course, is the Chelan County Fairgrounds, and we can see all of downtown Kashmir from high atop Stein Hill. I hiked Stein Hill one time, and it's a pretty good workout. I was younger and in shape back then, so we say good morning to Kashmir on this Friday morning. This is a satellite image that was taken about 2 hours ago, or just past 5 o'clock, and this gives you an idea of what's coming our way. Yellow is low clouds and fog, and you can see, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, already the Ponderay area, the Idaho Panhandle, and on down into the Spokane area, they're starting to see the skies clear out. You can see the high clouds move away. That's the pattern. So you folks out in the Columbia Basin, you're going to see the clearer skies before we were. Basically, the timeline is Moses Lake, Ephrata. You're going to see some sunshine by about noon. For us here in the Wenatchee Valley, it'll be later on in the afternoon. And for the east slopes of the Cascades, Leavenworth Plain, it'll be closer to maybe 4 or so. But gradually, as the day progresses, the clouds will depart, the sun will be here, And we're digging that. Your forecast brought to you by Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, where comfort, care, and community come together. Clouds in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon. It all depends on where you live. As I already mentioned, out of the Columbia Basin, you're going to start seeing some sunshine by about 10 or so this morning. It'll be more like early afternoon in the Wenatchee Valley and later in the day. The farther west you go, the longer you're going to have to wait for the sun to come out. But it will be here, and we'll top off at 34, 22 for the overnight low tonight. Because of the chilly overnight lows, that's cold, 22. It's going to take us a while to get going. The days may be getting longer by about 2.5 minutes. But it's going to be a cold start to the day on Saturday. It'll take us a while to get to 33, but we'll get there. And nothing but sunshine. Get out and enjoy. Just bundle up. We'll do it again on Sunday. Once again, a little chilly because the overnight lows will be in the lower 20s. There are going to be some locations, folks, in our viewing area, and you know who you are. You're going to see overnight lows in the teens tonight and Saturday. Mostly sunny on Sunday. And are you ready for this? That big dome of high pressure, that big ridge that had us socked in, that moved out over the Pacific, which is allowing our skies to clear out in addition to the high elevation winds. So that big dome of high pressure is going to move back. It's going to move back over our area by Tuesday of next week. So we could see another round of inversion next week. We'll know more when we get together on Monday. Can you believe that? We're going to take a break, come back with the news. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Somewhere behind these doors is a family member, often alone, taking care of a loved one with Alzheimer's or some other disability, or providing care for a loved one who is not ill but only aging and no longer able to care for themselves. In the field of caregiving, this is the home front. For the home is where most Americans will live out their last days. Contact Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington for a variety of services including caregiving, meals, and medication help.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
30 degrees, high clouds, and those high clouds are going to be 86 of themselves right out of the Wenatchee Valley. It'll start late morning for the Wenatchee Valley anyway. By mid to late afternoon, we'll have quite a bit of sunshine as we're done with the inversion. The transition day is today. Lots of sunshine, but pretty darn chilly on Saturday and Sunday. It's 9 minutes after the hour. A group of Chelan County deputies have filed an $8 million tort claim against their employer. They're alleging that Sheriff Mike Morrison demoted them for supporting his predecessor during the 2022 election. Our media partner at the Wenatchee World reports that the 4 deputies named in the claim, Christopher Eacle, Austin Key, Lucas McComas, and Ian Sutton, they allege that Morrison demoted them from their previous positions of sergeant in an act of retaliation. They say that when Brian Burnett, the former sheriff, was running for a 4th term in 2022, the candidates and the county compelled them to publicly choose sides and offer endorsements. When 2 of the deputies filed complaints in the summer of 2024, they say the county declined to investigate. The 4 claimants are seeking $2 million each in damages for alleged constitutional violations and emotional distress. Morrison declined to comment, but he said he has, quote, full faith, end quote, in the process. East Wenatchee is losing its Assistant Chief of Police, Eric Hampton, retiring from law enforcement after more than 28 years. As a police officer, he joined the East Wenatchee Force in 2021. He spent more than 2 decades before that with the Yakima Police. Chief Rick Johnson told us that Hampton is moving on. He's going to take a new job with the Public School Employees of Washington. That's the union that represents 30,000 education support professionals. Johnson says he'll hold the assistant chief position open for the rest of this year, along with another position in the police department, in order to help balance East Wenatchee's budget. Those vacancies should be restored next year with help from grant funding and the city's new public safety tax. Well, with repairs in Tumwater Canyon still underway, Chumstick Highway remains the only route between Highway 2 and the Wenatchee Valley. It's a county highway. It runs through the small town of Plain, and all that traffic is putting a lot of stress on both the roadway and the folks around Plain. They're a little nervous about this. The Washington State Patrol heard their complaints about high speeds and dangerous driving on Chumstick near Beaver Valley Road, and they conducted a speed emphasis operation earlier this week, and apparently it worked. Troopers say in 4 hours they spoke with 22 motorists, asking them to lower their speeds and offering citations. Traffic on the nearby Beaver Hill section of Chumstick is still being directed by a pilot car because, of course, rock slides, and it's a pretty hairy turn to begin with, even when everything is great. And right now, it isn't. A Grand Coulee man is charged with 5 counts of first-degree assault after allegedly firing a rifle at a group of boaters on the Rufus Woods Reservoir on the Columbia River. Douglas County Sheriff's deputies say it happened on Sunday. 5 people out on the boat on the river said a man fired shots at them from the Douglas County shoreline near Strahl Canyon Road. One person on the boat had been test firing their own rifle before the incident. Sean W. Robinson, a 41-year-old Grand Coulee resident, allegedly fired on the boat up to 8 times. Victims say they saw the bullets splash into the water nearby. Robinson allegedly admitted to deputies that he fired at least 1 shot to scare the boaters away. Douglas County Judge Brian Huber on Tuesday allowed Robinson to go free without bail. He was scheduled to be arraigned yesterday in Douglas County Superior Court. The NES School District is looking for its next leader. It's a rural district, about 440 students, and they're inviting applicants to apply for the top job to oversee its elementary, middle, and high schools, all of which, of course, are in the same building. The job listing says NES Schools offers manageable class sizes and strong student-staff relationships and serves a large population of Spanish-speaking students. The current superintendent, Greg Whitmore, was hired in 2022. He returned to his hometown after more than 30 years as a teacher and a coach at Ritzville High School. The pay range for the superintendent of the NES School District goes from $125,000 to $155,000. Applications are due, by the way, on February 20th. And Chelan County Mountain Rescue, the all-volunteer agency that helps locate lost and injured people in the backcountry and get them to safety, says it logged 16 rescue missions in 2025. And that's good news because they had to do 23 such missions in 2024 and 31 missions in 2023. The organization says all rescues last year amounted to about 548 hours in the field for its highly trained volunteers. Chelan County Mountain Rescue has 26 active members. They specialize in rope rescues, wilderness first aid, backcountry navigation, and other skills. More power to them, and here's hoping I will never have to use their services. That's the news. At 14 minutes after the hour, what's been a busy news week. We'll wrap up tonight with the NCW Life Evening News. Once again, Grant Olson is on assignment. He'll be back Monday, so we'll have Jefferson Robbins in the anchor chair, and I'll be doing the weather forecast. But watch anyway. The NCW Life Evening News at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock tonight. On YouTube right around 5 o'clock if you're unplugged from television. That's me unplugging things. We have an app. We're on X. We're on Instagram. We're on Roku. We're on Amazon Fire. We're on Netflix. I'm being told in my earpiece we're not on Netflix. And our email address is news@ncwlife.com. There's a certain game of some importance on Sunday at Lumen Field. We'll talk about that when we come back with sports. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
The winter prep sports season is here, and NCW Life Channel has you covered. Follow the Eastmont Wildcats and Wenatchee Panthers right here. Coverage brought to you in part by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Apple Valley Honda, Biosports Physical Therapy, Coldwell Banker Cascade Real Estate, Global Car Care, Highlander Golf Course and Grill, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, Sangster Motors, Save Mart, and Valley Tractor. Follow the action all winter long on your local TV station, the NCW Life Channel. Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
"17 minutes after the hour, the Seahawks continue preparations for the big showdown on Sunday with the Rams for the NFC Championship and a trip to the Super Bowl, the first of what could be a lot of awards. Ray announced yesterday John Schneider was named the NFL's Executive of the Year yesterday by the Pro Football Writers of America. It's the first time a Seahawks executive has won the award since it began in 1993. Head coach Mike Macdonald says Schneider deserves the kudos.
Name a thing that we've done since we've walked in the door 2 years ago, and especially this year, and we've gotten great returns. I mean, in terms of just action items, but I think and I've talked about this at length before, but to me, it's like the leadership is probably needs to get talked about more with him on how he operates daily, you know, and how he treats everybody in the environment that we've been able to create around here is just. I think that's helped our development of our people. You know, that's helped guys take the next steps in their career. And you can kind of go down the list of coaches, personnel, players that have taken another step in their career. And if you kind of trace it all the way back, it's like, well, John's got a lot of responsibility in that. So, and I'm sure if he was standing right here, he'd be the first to thank all of our personnel staff. You know, just everybody being bought in the same thing, and that's what type of guy he is. So, yeah, I'm really happy he won. He deserves it.
Seahawks safety Julian Love says despite the stakes involved on Sunday, this week the Seahawks are preparing for the Rams like it's just another game.
Today felt like a normal Thursday walkthrough. Everybody's, going through the process, doing their practice prep. It just feels like kind of another week. I would imagine that's the goal of Mike from the beginning, is to kind of establish a routine and a process that's similar week in, week out, no matter kind of what the game is. And so you know what to expect. We know we're going to have a Thursday practice. Know how the flow goes Friday, Saturday. And so the process is the process. Then Sunday, it'll be definitely exciting in the stadium. Yeah, it's a dance, between, the guy calling their plays, McVay, as well as Mike kind of calling our stuff. It's a dance of what we're showing, what we're presenting, how we're going to execute. I think the story of the second game was really just not executing. Defensively, we had a good plan in, but we just didn't execute to our fullest. And so, that we know that. I think we got the win, but we go into that Monday after that game knowing that it's great we got the win, but on defense that room was quiet for sure, knowing that all right, we have some work to do. And I think we showed improvement the weeks after that game because all right, that was a loud playoff-like environment for that game, and now we know what to expect.
Wideout Cooper Kupp, of course, won the Super Bowl MVP. That was 4 years ago with the Rams. Now he's trying to make the Super Bowl again, this time with the Seahawks.
we all have a story. All these guys here that are step on this field, they've all had a story to get them to this point. They've all had a journey of what this year's been from, what the last few years have been to come to this point. Mine is just one of 53 that are going to be on that field. And in my story, this is an unbelievable storyline. The chances that this ends up being what it is, and I'm really excited about that. But this is the Seahawks going into an NFC Championship game and trying to get the job done. And so that's the great thing about football. It's all these guys. All these guys have different stories, and we all get to play for one another. I mean, it's a powerful thing when all 50 guys are playing for a why, playing for their purpose. But it's even more powerful when you're playing for the guys next to you, and you're playing for the people that are lining up alongside you. And that's what I'm excited about is the guys that are in this room that, man, you want to go out there and win for. The coaches that have put so much time into this that you want to go and execute your job for. And, we've got a lot of guys that live that, they're about it. And that's what makes this a really exciting thing for me.
And in case you don't have any plans on Sunday, here's your schedule. The AFC Championship will be in the Mile High City of Denver. It is the Patriots and the Broncos. They'll kick it off at noon-ish. And they never kick off at the exact time anyway. I don't know why. That'll be on CBS, and then about 3.5 hours later or after the game ends. Remember, if the first game, the AFC Championship, goes long, they will delay the kickoff between the Rams and the Seahawks, scheduled for 3:30 on Fox. There are other sporting events, believe it or not. The Kraken have Game 2 of their 5-game homestand tonight. The Anaheim Ducks at Climate Pledge Arena. These two teams in the same division, so you want to win these. It's the Ducks and the Kraken at 7 o'clock tonight. You can watch that on Kong, or if you have Prime, like I do, unless somebody stole my password, you can watch it then as well. Your men's college basketball schedule for the weekend looks something like this. Ta-da! Sacramento will beat Eastern Washington tomorrow at 2 o'clock. You need to have ESPN Plus to watch that. Cougars will host Pepperdine 1 hour later. Number 8 Gonzaga will host San Francisco. You need CBS Sports Network to watch that. But I got Peacock, so on Sunday at noon, instead of football, I'm watching Oregon at Washington. Well, not really. Women's college basketball schedule. 2 games tomorrow. Eastern's at Sacramento State at 2 o'clock. And the Huskies will be at Rutgers on Sunday at 11 a.m. Always nice to be in New Jersey. Provided they can get there, they're going to get hammered with snow. Girls wrestling from last night. The Wenatchee Panthers had a lot of forfeits, and when you have a lot of forfeits, you're not going to win. And they didn't. They got shut out by Sunnyside. In girls wrestling, Eisenhower took care of Eastmont. Moses Lake beat Davis. Toppenish over Ephrata, and Quincy got by Grandview. Boys wrestling looks something like this. Eastmont completes the sweep, as does Sunnyside. Moses Lake over Davis, Grandview over Quincy, and Toppenish out-wrestled the Ephrata Tigers. And your wrestling schedule, there's a lot of wrestling going on. At 8:30 tomorrow, Cashmere and 15 other schools will be at the KLM tourney. 8:30 on a Saturday morning wrestling? Probably why I don't wrestle. Anyway, if you're a wrestler and you go to high school anywhere in North Central Washington, the odds are you're getting up early and riding a bus to go wrestle somewhere. Girls scores from last night in high school basketball. Pretty light schedule, but here you go. Here's who did what to whom. Chelan won a league game. They beat Cascade. Soap Lake over Easton, and Wilson Creek defeated Cascade Christian. Don't have any boys scores. Sorry about that. Your girls schedule today, it starts at 4:30 and runs all the way until 7:30 tonight. And of course, we'll have the Davis Pirates at the Wenatchee Panthers. The Davis Pirates girls basketball team is the #1 ranked 4A team in the state. They're good. Wenatchee's going to have their handfuls tonight. Eastmont's at Eisenhower, and you can see the rest of the schedule. And then the girls basketball schedule on Saturday. Manson and Antioch get things underway at 2 o'clock. They wrap things up at Lake Roosevelt at Waterville Mansfield at 7:30, and all the other games in between. Wenatchee has a home game against Moses Lake, and Eastmont has a home game against West Valley. That's the ladies. Now the boys. Schedule for today on down the line. Once again, our cameras and Eric will be at the Wenatchee High School Gymnasium for the Davis Pirates and the Wenatchee Panthers. 7 o'clock. We'll have that for you tonight here on the NCW Live channel, plus streaming on our YouTube and Facebook page. Lots and lots of high school basketball. It's the middle of February. That's part and parcel. And then tomorrow, there is your schedule for the local teams. And once again, Eastmont and Wenatchee are both at home, both at 6 o'clock. The Moses Lake Mavericks will take on the Panthers. The West Valley Rams will take on the Wildcats. Wenatchee Wild, 2 home games, Friday and Saturday. They get Sunday off. The Kamloops Blazers in town tonight. 7 o'clock is when they'll drop the puck. And tomorrow for the Wenatchee Wild, Guns and Hoses. The Guns and Hoses games, that's when the local law enforcement takes on the local firefighters in hockey. You want to see a bunch of grown men fall down, check it out. That's at 4 o'clock. The game itself will be at 6 o'clock, and we will have basketball tonight. If you can't make it to the gym, well, we always encourage people to make it to the gym. If you can't make it, you want to watch it in the comfort of your own home, we'll have it. The girls at 5:30, the boys at 7, streaming on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, the Davis Pirates and the Wenatchee Panthers with Eric Granstrom on the call. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Friday. Before we get to the obscure holiday, happy National Pie Day today. Pie Day, not the mathematical equation. We're talking about actual just pies. Banana cream pie, chocolate cream pie, apple pie, cherry pie. I love pie. We're not doing that today. We're going to celebrate something that is slowly but surely dying off, handwriting. It's National Handwriting Day. Why? Because it's that guy's birthday, John Hancock, maybe the most famous signature of all time. And because John Hancock's birthday is on January 23rd, we celebrate National Handwriting Day, which is quite frankly a dying art. I always love to tell this story. We learned in cursive. I went to Washington Elementary School, and we learned how to write in cursive in 3rd grade. So this was like, 20 years or so ago. And my cursive was impeccable. They would hold up my work to my other classmates. I was teased mercilessly for this. Look at Danny Kuntz's cursive. It's just, this is the way you're supposed to do it. And I had great cursive handwriting. And then my parents bought me a typewriter in junior high, and so went my handwriting. Now my handwriting is terrible. I could be a pharmacist. I can't read my own handwriting. I make a shopping list and I go to the store and I can't figure out what it is I'm supposed to buy. Of course, what's killed handwriting is phones, texting, keyboards. Handwriting is becoming a dying art. And handwriting, your handwriting is really as unique as your fingerprint and thumbprint, but definitely a dying art. So if you're really good at handwriting, if you can print or, cursive really good, power to you. I used to, can't anymore. It's 27 minutes after the hour. Today in history, the deadliest earthquake ever since recorded time happened on this date in 1556. That was a long time ago, 470 years ago, in the Shenxi province of China, in central China. The Shenxi region had an earthquake. The strength of the earthquake wasn't really the issue. The people in this area in 1556 lived in artificial caves that they dug into the side of the mountain, and the earthquake happened in the middle of the night. And all of these people, the mountain came down, and they were buried alive, and they suffocated in their homemade caves inside the hill. And so the earthquake itself killed about 100,000 people. And then after that, there was famine and plague. There was no way to grow and eat food, and all the cattle died. And that led to another 700,000 people dying. So they figured the overall death toll from this earthquake in 1556 was about 800,000 people. Maybe even more. 85 years ago today, Charles Lindbergh, the famed aviator, went before the United States Congress and told everybody we can't beat Hitler. We just can't do it. The only way we're going to be able to beat Hitler is basically sign a truce, do a neutrality pact, and just let Hitler take over Europe. For a lot of America First conservatives, they were like, yeah, we don't want to get involved in Europe's conflicts. For FDR, who was trying to push us ever so gently onto the British side in World War II, when he went to bed that night, FDR told his valet, who was assisting him, to go to bed. He said, I want you to know this, Richard. If I die tonight, I want the world to know that I think Charles Lindbergh is a Nazi. That was on this date 85 years ago today. Frederick Morrison missed out on a whole bunch of money. 69 years ago today, Fred Morrison, there he is. He invented the flying disc. The flying disc. And he sold his rights on this date in 1957. He sold his rights to his invention, the flying disc. He sold it to the Wemo toy company, who renamed it the Frisbee. Wemo got a lot of money. Walter Morrison didn't, but he invented it, so there's that. That happened on this date in 1957. Before this date in 1964, in 5 states, if you wanted to vote, you had to pay for the right to do it. They had poll taxes. We look on with incredulity nowadays. Poll taxes, you have to pay to vote. It was commonplace in the American South for the simple fact that, well, they didn't want certain people voting in the American South, specifically blacks and poor people, poor white people. We don't want them voting in elections, and so we'll make it unaffordable for them. But on this date, the 24th Amendment to the Constitution passed, prohibiting the use of poll taxes in national elections. And so the poll taxes in Texas, it was Texas, Virginia, Mississippi, Alabama, and Arkansas. They all had poll taxes for federal elections, for your congressman and your senator and the presidency. That all went by the wayside, but it took a Supreme Court decision 2 years later to eliminate poll taxes altogether. Yes, before this date, in 1964, you actually had to pay to vote in 5 states. They got rid of that. And it's hard to believe, 40 years ago today, Saturday night, January 23rd, 1986, at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City, the first 10 inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame are inducted. Little Richard was inducted by Roberta Flack. Chuck Berry was inducted by Keith Richards. It's a great speech. It's on YouTube. You should watch it. James Brown went into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as part of the inaugural class. Steve Winwood inducted James Brown. Ray Charles was inducted, of course. Quincy Jones did the honors there. Herb Alpert inducted the great Sam Cooke. Fats Domino was inducted by another great piano player, Billy Joel. Phil and Don Everly, the Everly brothers, were inducted by Neil Young. John Fogerty did the honors of inducting Buddy Holly. Jerry Lee Lewis was inducted by Hank Williams Jr. And Julian and Sean Lennon, John Lennon's sons, did the induction for Elvis Aaron Presley. Of course, Elvis, Buddy Holly, and Sam Cooke were all inducted posthumously. Little Richard was in New York, but he couldn't go to the ceremony that night because that morning he was in a very serious car accident, was hospitalized. He was in New York, but he couldn't make it to the ceremony. The other 6 that were inducted that famous night 40 years ago today in the early influences category, Jimmy Rogers, Jimmy Yancey, and the great bluesman Robert Johnson, and in the non-performing category, Alan Freed, Sam Phillips, and John Hammond. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is 40 years old today. One birthday, it's a heavenly birthday, one of my favorite Supreme Court justices of all time, Potter Stewart, a great jurist, a staunch defender of the Constitution, a great writer, and despite all the great work that he did for the Supreme Court in all his years on the Supreme Court, all he is known for is his concurring opinion in one opinion. In Jacopellis v. Ohio, they were trying to decide, can they ban pornography, and what exactly is pornography? I mean, from a legal standpoint, you can't really define pornography. Pornography means something else to everybody. I mean, you get together 85 people in a room, you're going to have 85 different definitions of what pornography is. And Potter Stewart realized that they had pretty much dug themselves a hole and right into the corner, and he said, it was about a film. Can a town ban a film because of its content? And Potter Stewart's famous line is, I can't define pornography, I just know it when I see it. He was right, by the way. You can't really legally define pornography. The great Potter Stewart, born in the state in 1915. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsor. You got silver, you got gold, and you got platinum, and they're right up there at the top. It helps if they're good at what they do. Maybe they shouldn't watch this show. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. Going to take a break, and then an opinion from my Mad Dog McDotty, of course. And then Paul Collard pays me a visit. Paul is a member of the Friends of NCW Fair, and every year, this time of the year, in the middle of March, they put together a ginormous fundraiser with a ginormous amount of food. Paul will join me when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers.
News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life Channel.
A kitchen that makes mouths water and jaws drop. A bedroom from a dream with a bath from a spa. A walk-in you'd never want to walk out of. A pool like the fountain of youth. And a view that never gets old. When buying or selling a home of the highest standards, it's comforting to be represented by a real estate company with standards to match. Coldwell Banker Global Luxury. Live well with Coldwell.
Hey, this is Mike, Mad Dog McNaughty. Everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, you want to know what some Republicans actually think about us? Okay, well, after our great president has dismissed the Epstein case as a Democratic hoax, House Speaker Mike Johnson said that Trump was actually an FBI informant trying to take this stuff down. Both of these statements, that Epstein files and that business is a Democratic hoax, and that Trump was working undercover with the FBI, is a clear demonstration about how some politicians will be willing to insult your and my intelligence. But you know what's worse? Some people believe this stuff. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Whether you're a new homeowner or looking to update, Save Mart in Wenatchee has everything you need. From top-of-the-line appliances to comfy mattresses and stunning furniture that fits your style, they have it all under one roof. With great deals and expert customer service, you'll find the perfect pieces for your space and your budget. Save Mart, your local destination for quality appliances, mattresses, and furniture at prices you'll love.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional-grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Welcome back to the program. Circle Saturday, March 14th on your calendar. Circle it big, because you got a chance to eat big. And speaking of big, it's our good buddy. He's a friend of the NCW Fair. He's a friend of everybody. He's a friend of mine. He's Paul Collard, here to talk about the annual fundraiser that your organization, the Friends of the NCW Fair, put on every year. And there's nothing better than to sit down with a bunch of friends and scarf down some really good food. And obviously this has been working, Paul, or you wouldn't have been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah, this is 28th year. We're excited about it. We have a few tickets left for the crab feed. Go to ncwfair.org and you'll find all the information about that. What we're trying to do up at the fairgrounds is just keep small town America. Small town fair, Waterville small town, the atmosphere. We want to make something special for the kids and for their parents and make it a learning experience for everybody. Some of the monies that we use are for just fairground improvements, just things that isn't in the normal fair budget, that we need a little extra kick to make the fair go and work. And sometimes it's big things, sometimes it's small things, but all those things together just make things work fantastic.
There are fairs in heavily rural and agricultural areas in this country that have been struggling. Some have actually even gone away after 75, 80 years. That's not the case with the NCW District Fair. It is going great guns, has been.
It's going great guns. We're proud of the fact that we are still here, especially after the COVID times. Yeah, it's, like I say, it's just a fantastic small town where you kind of go back to that Mayberry RFD almost, where it's just a fun time. Our fair manager, Carolyn Morley, has done a phenomenal job getting more vendors, not only food vendors, but just what I call the stuff vendors. And all of our, the youth, the 4-H, the FFA, all the barns are full of animals. It's fun to go in and watch the petting zoo, where you got the little small kids that are going down here, grandpa and grandma or mom and dad, and they walk into the petting zoo, and it's the first time they've seen a calf in person, and they can touch the calf. And we want to get kids hooked early on animals and fair and just the things that we do up there, and we feel we do them pretty special, and we do them good.
You hit on something that to me is the soul of the fair, almost any fair, and that's the kids and their animals. You mentioned the FF Feeder Farmers of America and the 4-H kids who put in so much time and so much effort, and it all centers around that last week around August when all that hard work pays off and they show off their wares.
Yep, this year's actual fair will be August 27th to the 30th. Those kids, they put in a ton of time. Not only making sure the feed for the animals are good, but just the showing at their own home and getting the animal used to them. And we are very fortunate at the North Central Washington Fair where when those animals are sold, that they normally go for a premium, and those premiums help those kids go to college, get them their first foot in the door out, so they have some cash to go do things to get them going out so they can get older, raise kids, and come back to the fair itself too.
And I know people, very generous people, who will buy something, buy a cow, buy a pig, whatever, and then they just give it back to the kid and said, you just take the money and you can go sell the pig or the cow in the open market. And that's always cool.
Yep, and just a little plug too for the crab feed coming up here on March 14th. Several years ago, there was 2 people bidding on a bicycle, a little small bicycle for a girl. And somebody said, well, you should ride this around, a little girl. They rode it around the community hall, and these 2 guys and families are going back and forth. And finally, one of the family dropped out, and this little girl was riding it, and the gentleman that purchased it said, oh, that little girl looks so cute. She should just take that home.
Oh.
And just things like that in fact, that just gave me goosebumps telling that story again. It's just, people care, and people want to get involved in things that are going concern. And as you said just a little bit ago, a lot of fairs, even in our own state, have dropped by the wayside. And through smart management, tightening the belts when we needed to. But the North Central Washington Fair is just something special about it. There's plenty of parking. It's free parking. And but we're just so excited about the crab feed and prime rib fest here coming up.
Take me back 28 years. Somebody must have had hey, we need to raise money because we need to make improvements. We constantly need to make improvements to the infrastructure of the fairgrounds up there in Waterville. What do we do that will get people to come up to Waterville on a Saturday night and hang around? And somebody came up with the idea to talk about the origin of this.
Well, that was before my time, right. But I'm guessing that somebody, as you said, just said, hey, we need a little extra money. There's not enough money in the county coffers to do this. So I'm presuming they just said, hey, let's go get some meat, butcher it, barbecue it, whatever, and see if we can get some donations from the local community. And I'm guessing that's probably how it started. And I'm not exactly sure when the crab aspect came in. I've been involved almost 10 years now, and we've had crab, phenomenal crab, wonderful prime rib, all you can eat. So feel free to on that. There's, like I say, a few tickets still available. I'd love to have the people come up and see us. And if you've never been there before, just that atmosphere. The community hall is full of people. You know, the auctioneer going, there's silent auction things, there's, bigger things for the live auction, and it's just a great, great time. Very positive experience as well.
Pardon the pun, but how did you get roped into the Friends of the NCW Fair organization?
Well, our friend and buddy Eric Granstrom contacted me 10 plus years ago, and so you go through an interview process, and one thing led to another, and I guess I won, if you can consider it that. But no, it's been a great experience. I was on the actual fair board for 4 years, but that just got, for my daytime job, it just got too much to make 2 trips to Waterville every month. And so I'm now the chair of the Friends of the Fair board. So the funds we raised at the fair on the crab feed that night, the board I'm on and chair, we're the ones that get the requests, and then we say yes or no for spending it. So it's fun spending money in large dollar amounts too, that you're helping somebody in something along the way.
What's your personal record for prime rib and crab in one sitting?
Well, my wife and I do it a little bit different. We're serving number one because somebody needs to serve, but we eat the prime rib that night, and then we take our crab home with us, and that way we have crab salads for a couple of days, and we don't get all the crab scent on our fingers as we're doing other things. So we learned that after a couple of years. But yeah, my wife serves the baked beans, and I hand out the crabs. So it's
you're a real popular guy.
Oh, I'm a very popular guy. I'm a very popular guy up there.
One thing I did want to point out, I was on your website earlier as I was preparing for this interview. A ticket to get in, again, it's all you can eat, and there's going to be festivities and programs. Save the date. $79.25. That can't be right. You could do twice that and sell out.
We could, but we want to make it basically the ticket price pays for the meal. We don't make really any money on the meal. A lot of it depends on the price we get for the crab, because we don't get the price of the crab until March 1, and we're picking it up a couple weeks later. We have to do ticket prices in December. Right. So yeah, we could do more. And by the time you think about it, it's all you can eat crab, all you can eat prime rib, all the soda pop, coffee, and cake, tip technically included, tax included. It's the greatest bargain in
for less than $80.
It's the greatest bargain in Waterville. That's
for less than $80.
Less than $80.
You do that at a restaurant, you're paying $150 at least.
Yeah.
For that kind of deal.
And we're trying to be cost effective too for other fundraisers around that. We're right in that same ballpark as other people, and so yeah. But you can, if you want a piece of prime rib an inch thick, they'll cut it an inch thick. If you want it a quarter inch, they'll cut it a quarter inch. So
center cut horseradish.
There you go.
There you go. That's what I'm looking for. Is any of the money that you're raising earmarked for any specific projects before the 2026 fair gets on? Is there certain things at the fairgrounds that need more attention than perhaps others?
Yeah. If anybody's been to the fair, they know our bathrooms need some attention. So the earmark for this money, a lot of it is going to bathroom improvements, repairs. We want to upgrade our lighting. We want to upgrade some storage facilities. We work with the Washington Association of Fairs. They will have a grant, but they need matching money. So maybe they need $10,000 match. Well, that's where our board comes in. That say, yep, we'll put $10,000 into this for a match for funds to work on a bathroom or things like that.
How do people who, for whatever reason, and it's the middle of March, we're busy with whatever's going on, we want to help out, we love the fair, we go every year, can't go to the crab feed and the prime rib dinner all you can eat, but we want to help you out anyway on the 14th. How do people help you out without actually going?
We need donations. Okay. Donations are great for our silent auction or live auction. Just some of the things that we do. On my little list here, for auction items, it could be vacation stays, event, sports tickets, firearms, guided trips, any kind of equipment, services, any kind of unique big ticket items. And for the silent auction, any kind of gift baskets, gift certificates, any kind of an experience. Maybe you're a fisherman, you want to take somebody out fishing. Just things like that. A lot of the farmers like the fact that normally some of the sand and gravel organizations around here will donate so many tons of gravel, and that way they can use that, and that's always good too.
And you got some really good sponsors. People have been on board this year after year after year. They just say, we're in, Paul.
Yep.
You want to give some sponsorship love while I have you here? I know Weinstein's in on that. I want to say Waste Management, a couple others.
Yep, some
I don't
of
know
those,
off the top of my head.
Yeah, those, I don't have that sheet in front of me, and I don't want to leave anybody out.
They know who they are.
They know who they are, and if you want to see who they are, come up to the crab feed, and you'll see banners on inside the building of all the sponsors. But yeah, if it wasn't for the sponsors, we couldn't make a lot of the things go that we do.
This is kind of bizarre that I have Paul on to talk about buying tickets for the big event on the 14th. This will sell out. I mean, it sells out every year.
Yep, sells out every year.
And so there's a certain sense of urgency. So this isn't a last second. You can't get up on Saturday the 14th of March and say, let's go up to Waterville and do that, because you won't be able to get in.
Nope, you won't be able to get in. And we have people literally calling a couple days before, oh, can I buy a ticket? No, sorry, they're sold out. Yeah, if you are interested, please, ncwfair.org, go to the website, check it out. You'll find out a lot of the information as well. And kind of a fun thing we do on the night of the crab feed, besides raise a ton of money, is we also announce who our artists will be for the Friday night concert in late August. So
you brought in some people who weren't big wigs at the time, but are big wigs now in the world of country music.
Yeah, in fact, I was reviewing the list last night. Joe Diffie was was there roughly 20 years ago. The past couple of years, last year was Josh Turner. The year before that was Clint Black. We've had Sawyer Brown, Neil McCoy, Shenandoah.
Yeah.
Those are the ones off the top of my head from the last 4 or 5 years. So yeah, it's either artists that are on their rise or artists that have kind of peaked and come down, but they're still very, very well-known part, and they put on a great show.
Yeah, absolutely.
They love the atmosphere. They love we have a Dancing in the Dirt. We're on the track out front. You buy a Dancing in the Dirt ticket, and you're right next to the stage, and the people love it, and I think the bands really like it too, because it's not this huge arena. It's just small town America, and people are excited that they're there.
Again, Saturday, March 14th is the event. Hopefully, it won't sell out by the time this interview airs today. One last thing while I have you here, if you need a little, if you need a little blast of spirituality, I recommend Paul's Church, Columbia Grove Covenant Church there in East Wenatchee. It's a nice mix of traditional and non-traditional. What Pastor Andy has done up there, I think, is pretty cool, because your church is thriving like the fair is.
Yep, yeah, we're doing very, very well. You always hear a Bible-based sermon, and we're not extreme on one end or the other. Come as you are. We'd love to have you, and thanks for the plug.
Anytime, Paul.
All right.
Paul Collard, everybody, who no longer officiates high school games. Well, he actually left officiating to write his book, Why I Left Officiating. Paul, it's good to see you.
You too, Dan.
If you need more love from me, let me know.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Paul Collard, everybody, give him a big hand. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley, and we will be right back.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure, on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
All right, first things first, before we send you on your way for the weekend, the NFC Championship game. Lumen Field, 3:30 Sunday afternoon, Seahawks and Rams. And let's consult the Magic 8 Ball. I did this last Friday, and it was spot on. So here we go again. You have to close your eyes, and you say, Magic 8 Ball. Will the Seahawks win or lose on Sunday? And the Magic 8 Ball says, I can't read that. Reply hazy. Try again. Will the Seahawks win or lose? Outlook good. Yes, so the Seahawks are either going to win or lose on Sunday against the Rams. Go Seahawks. Have a little time. Let's do some cameras. We mixed them up a little bit from what we had about an hour ago. First of all, look at that. It's already starting to happen. The clouds are starting to lift. You can see the summit of Birch Mountain. Haven't been able to see that for a while. You can even see the snow line as the clouds are beginning to lift and exit the area. It's actually a little bit ahead of schedule. As you know, there's that backdoor shortwave that we're at the very, very edge of. This is the big system from Canada. So we're going to blast the upper Midwest with Arctic air and eventually going to give snow all the way from like Nashville to New York City. You folks on the far eastern slopes of the Cascades, like we're looking out there with the Lake Wenatchee camera, you guys are going to be, unfortunately, last on the scouring out of the skies. Of course, we've had that low stratus that's been plaguing us for over a week now. Basically, the farther east you go, the clearer the skies are going to be in the morning hours, and then gradually from east to west, the skies will clear out. Thank you very much. There is the Leavenworth camera. That's way up there in elevation. As you can see, the clouds are beginning to lift, and that is where the wind is from that backdoor shortwave trough that's going to scour out the skies there. So no wind. Okanagan, Omak area, you're going to have a little bit of wind. Nothing down here in the Wenatchee Valley. However, beautiful view from our Tumwater Canyon camera. And let's head on up to the top of Hay Canyon. Beautiful view there, and look at that. Slivers of blue sky. You got to like that. Good morning to Kashmir on this lovely day indeed. Here's what's going on. This satellite image is now about 3 hours old. Yellow is clouds and fog. And as you can see, as the system rolls through and it catches just the edge of it here in eastern Washington, you can see the clouds beginning to break up and dissipate and move away. It's already happened in Spokane. It's happening right now in the Columbia Basin. It's now beginning to creep its way in here to the Wenatchee Valley. And by, I don't know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, we'll have about 70% sunshine and about 30% clouds, and that's the way it's going to be all weekend. Lots of sunshine. Maybe a few lingering clouds on Saturday, but I think we're looking good. So that's a good idea of what exactly is happening right now. Thank goodness. From the National Weather Service, that way if you don't like the weather, you can blame the government. Morning clouds, afternoon sun. Again, the farther east you are, the more sun you're going to get earlier in the day. Here in the Wenatchee Valley, we won't have full sunshine until probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but we will take it. 34 for a high today, which is almost normal for this time of the year. No cloud cover, no stratus, none of that stuff, which means the overnight low tonight is going to get chilly. 22 in the Wenatchee Valley. It's going to be cooler still on Saturday, but look at all the sunshine Saturday and Sunday. Heads up for you folks who live in areas that are prone to pretty chilly temperatures when the skies are clear. In the dead of winter, you're going to see overnight lows in the teens in many locations, especially to the north of us and some of those more sheltered canyons. You're going to see some pretty chilly overnight lows, but sunshine, we'll take it. I don't care what the temperature is going to be. Just bring on the sun. 33 Saturday, 31 Sunday, few clouds on Monday, and then believe it or not, we're going to have another high pressure ridge that could give us some inversion problems next week, but that's next week. See you Monday. Bye-bye.